All right, now we can go ahead and write our admin wrapper file. This is going to be a longer video, and we're gonna build a bit more robust code here rather than what we see on the simple one. So now let's get back to our admin wrapper file. The first thing you're gonna do as well, do our imports. Now we're gonna import admin client, the new topic, the new partitions as well, and the config resource. Config resource. So this class will let us to connect to the cluster and define the new topics and add extra configurations, just like we've seen in the first one. Let's import our exception. Also, let's import our logging, and we're gonna import the typing library just to allow us to do standard Python typing for our stuff. We need a list, dict, optional, and union. Okay, let's go ahead and set up our log config. We're gonna do at the information level only, and the format we want the time, also the level name, and also the messaging. And finally, let's go ahead and instantiate our logger object. Sweet. Now we're gonna create a class that are gonna call it the Kafka admin, and we're gonna use it to implement the method as a wrapper from the Confluent Kafka library. So our methods are going to call the Confluent Kafka library methods. So let's go ahead and do the Kafka admin class, and let's define a constructor. We're gonna need to have our bootstrap server, which can be a list in case we're talking about multi-broker, or it could be a simple string, right? So we can have a union of them, and we also can have the config. I'll do a pass here just to shut down those errors. We're gonna take this later. So the bootstrap servers are going to be the host or the port, or a list of host port combination that we're gonna need. And also the config is going to be any extra configuration properties that we might want to pass. And how do we check which options we have available? So Confluent Kafka is built on top of librd Kafka C library. So if you go here on the librd Kafka library documentation, you can see on configuration properties, and you can find everything that you can pass to the library. And we're going to use some of those, but not all of them, obviously. So you can always refer back to this to implement things yourself. Okay? So make sure you check the documentation, and let's continue. So what I want to see is, okay, if I get a list or if I get just a single string of broker, I need to treat this properly. So let's call the instance for the bootstrap servers. If it's a list, I'll create the bootstrap service variable where I'm gonna concatenate it with our join function. All right. Otherwise, I'll just get the string. Okay. So now we're gonna prepare our base configuration, just like with those config files that config parameters that I just showed you from the librd Kafka library. So I'm gonna go ahead and create some of them. I'm gonna use some of them. So the bootstrap servers, of course. It's just the object that I just created. Then I'm gonna also create the socket timeout, which basically says how long we want to wait for network responses whenever we're interacting with the broker. I'm gonna put 10K here, and we also will do the request timeout, just to not have us waiting for a long time in case something fails. All right. Then I'm gonna update my configs with the config that I just created. All right. Finally, for this constructor, I'm gonna go ahead and create the admin client instance. Again, this won't connect immediately. It'll just set up the configuration. So I'll do admin client, and now I'm gonna call in the Confluent Kafka library, passing our config with everything here, both the Bootstrap servers and all of those parameters. All right, and let's just log it. Kafka admin initialized with brokers. Let's just show it. And I can remove this. So this is how our constructor will look like. All right. Now I'm gonna stop here because this is gonna get too lengthy, and we continue the next one with the methods creation.